And in fact, it's in the next generation that Judah falls. In 586, the walls of Jerusalem are breached, and the temple is destroyed, and the king at that time, King Zedekiah, is blinded and taken in chains into exile with his court. And only the poor are left behind. This is the Deuteronomists' attempt to account for these anomalies within their historiosophic view. And the result of the Deuteronomists' interpretation was remarkable. Because if the defeat of the nation were to be seen as the defeat of the nation's God by the God of the conquering nation, then the Israelites would have turned from the worship of their God Yahweh and embraced the new ascendant God Marduk. And undoubtedly there were Israelites who did do this. Right? That would have been the argument of history in their view. But not all did. For some, defeat did not lead to despair or apostasy because it could be explained by the likes of the Deuteronomistic historian or the Deuteronomistic school as fitting into the monotheistic scheme. Right? This did not impugn God's kingship or lordship over the universe. It was proof of it. God was punishing Israel for the sin of idolatry, which was in violation of his covenant. And to punish Israel, he had raised the Babylonians. They were merely his tool. The historiosophy of the Deuteronomistic historian finds its classic expression in 2 Kings chapter 17. I'm going to skim through sections of it so you can see the argument that's laid out there. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom. He deported the Israelites to Assyria and settled them in various places. And this happened because the Israelites sinned against the Lord their God, who had freed them from the land of Egypt, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They worshipped other gods and followed the customs which the kings of Israel had practiced, putting again the blame on the kings as the head of this idolatry. The Israelites committed against the Lord their God acts which were not right. They built for themselves shrines in all their settlements, from watchtowers to fortified cities. They set up pillars and sacred posts for themselves on every lofty hill and under every leafy tree, and they offered sacrifices there at all the shrines, like the nations whom the Lord had driven into exile before them. So now he's going to follow through, since they behaved the same way, to drive them into exile also. They committed wicked acts to vex the Lord, and they worshipped fetishes, concerning which the Lord had said to them, "You must not do this thing." The Lord warned Israel and Judah by every prophet and every seer. So God didn't just stand by idling. He was constantly sending prophets, messengers, to tell them to turn back to the covenant. And we'll start talking about those prophets today. He sent warnings by every prophet and every seer, saying, "Turn back from your wicked ways and observe my commandments and my laws, according to all the teaching that I commanded your fathers and that I transmitted to you through my servants, the prophets." But they didn't obey. They stiffened their necks, like their fathers, who did not have faith in the Lord their God. They spurned his laws and the covenant that he had made with their fathers and the warnings he had given them. They went after delusion and were deluded. They made molten idols for themselves. 2 calves, specifically now the sin of Jeroboam at Dan and Bethel. 2 calves. And they made a sacred post, and they bowed down to all the host of heaven, and they worshipped Baal. They consigned their sons and daughters to the fire. They practiced augury and divination, and gave themselves over to what was displeasing to the Lord, and vexed him. The Lord was incensed at Israel, and he banished them from his presence. None was left but the tribe of Judah alone. Nor did Judah keep the commandments of the Lord their God. They followed the customs that Israel had practiced. So the Lord spurned all the offspring of Israel, and he afflicted them and delivered them into the hands of plunderers, and finally he cast them out from his presence.